give the floor to the Speaker of the Minister of Defense, Viktoria Kushnir, and then we'll have on Skype Anton Myronovych, who is Speaker of the ATO. Good morning, dear friends. I'm happy to see you during our briefing. Today, the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Stepan Poltorak, is going to meet the State Secretary of the Ministry of Defense of the Kingdom of Norway, Mr. Westenbue. They're going to discuss the military political situation in Ukraine, the forums undertaken by the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, and also the prospects for the further cooperation between Ukraine and Norway. In the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, they continue the work to provide with material resources our armed forces. June 10th, the negotiations were held regarding the procurement of gasoline and diesel fuel for the army. 16 companies participated in those negotiations. Also, the process of renovation of the contracts with these suppliers, outsourcers, for the foodstuff for the army is going on now. This is linked with the recent introduction of the better standards for the daily nourishment of our servicemen. As of June 11, since the beginning of this year, they signed 49 additional contracts and 276 agreements for the supply of different individual properties for a total amount of 1,457,000,000 hryvnia. This is 120% more than the whole financial resources for the 2014 year. During the last week, they signed 52 agreements for the total amount of 141,800,000 hryvnia for the supply of almost 1.5 million pairs of socks and 145,000 field suits. Over the last week, they supplied 1,500 of the summer field suits, 2,500 suits for water-resistant suits, more than 8,000 warm field vests, 15,000 caps, 20,000 T-shirts, etc. The repair divisions and units of the armed forces of Ukraine, together with the public enterprises, continue to restore military equipment. In all, they restored and repaired 25,526 units of weaponry and armaments in the military equipment, 948 units of the rocket artillery, weapons for almost 5,000 armored vehicles, and over 17,000 motor cars. Also, they restored 539 units of the Air Force military equipment, including 81 aircraft and plane and 44 helicopters. The other day, the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Mr. Stepan Poltorak, approved the program entitled Care for the Children of the Heroes. This is the set of the measures which have to enhance to increase the social protection for the children of those military men and servicemen who were killed in action during the ATO. We are talking about the special support given to the families of those guys. In particular, by the end of June, they are going to have created the single automated system of information register of the children of the fallen heroes. Also, they plan to establish contacts with the Ministry of Social Policy, the public service for veterans of war, etc., and to provide the assistance to those who badly need it. The Ministry of Defense continues its work to provide the housing to the families of the killed servicemen. The Ministry of Defense provided 8 families with the new apartments, in particular in Chernihiv, Kostopol, Monastyryvtsy, Belgorod-Dnestrovsky, and Lipniki of Lvivsk region. Also, they gave out 2 permanent apartments in Yavorov and 2 service apartments in the Chakov and Kryvyi Rih. Today, 17 families of the fallen heroes are provided with the housing at the expense of the Ministry of Defense Resources. They already bought out and issued the certificates to 21 apartments. It's besides 5 more families of the fallen heroes are provided with housing at the cost of the local authorities. The cabinet ministers allocated some funds to the respective regional administration and the Ministry of Regional Development, Construction and the Housing Economy of Ukraine for purchasing 28 apartments for the families of those servicemen who were killed during ATO. Now I'm going to switch the floor to Major Anton Myronovych, the Speaker of ATO, who is going to inform you about the situation in the ATO area. Good morning, Mr. Anton. Please share the information regarding the situation in ATO during the last night. The situation in the ATO area remains very tense. But the situation is controlled by the ATO forces at the whole length of the line of contact. Yesterday, they provided 84 shellings of Ukrainian positions, and they were most active during the night and the late evening. And most of the shellings came after 6 p.m. yesterday. They shelled the Peski, Opitne, Starognativka. They also used 120 millimeters howitzer and 122 millimeter houses and mortar launchers, which are forbidden by the Minsk agreements. Near Lugansk, the Krymsk was shelled. The Stanitsa Lugansk was shelled by the firearms. Also, we twice registered the use near Shirokino of the firearms and grenade launchers, but closer to the night they started to use the forbidden weaponry, like 120 millimeters mortar launchers and 122 howitzers. After the midnight, they used the artillery systems with the gauge or the caliber exceeding 100 millimeters. This was registered near Shirokino and also Zolote, in Lugansk region and Rykhove, not far from Artemivsk. Firearms and the grand launchers were used to shell and bombard Peski, Opitne, Stanitsa Lugansk, and Marinitsa. They used the enemy sniper was active. What we registered also since the so-called ceasefire, we registered 18 attacks. I would like to emphasize that the situation is under control, absolutely. We also provided the reserve capabilities, and the management of the ATO is prepared for any kind of developments in this area. Thank you, Anton. Are there any questions? No questions. Thank you, Madam Viktoria. Thank you, Mr. Anton. See you or hear you on Friday. Thank you.